Hey friend, welcome to the channel. In today's video, I wanted to share the top lessons that every course creator needs to know for a successful business journey. For me, this has been an 8-year journey, and last year I hit the $151,883.78, because you got to put in those 78 cents in terms of overall revenue. And as I mentioned, this has been an 8-year journey for me. It has not been an overnight success, but I'm really grateful for this journey because it's enabled me to really optimize and figure out what the most important things are when it comes to being and creating an online business. I think especially in this online space, and especially as online course creators, and especially as therapists, online creators, we can often feel this pressure or this, I think we're thrown a lot of these unrealistic expectations around, make a, X amount of money in X amount of days. And it really sort of skews many people's perceptions about courses and all of those things. And for me, the journey has not been like that at all. As I mentioned, it's been an 8-year journey to even get to this point, and it's been slow and steady, and it hasn't been like a, hockey stick up kind of growth at all. It's actually been more generally trending up, but a lot of like ups and downs, kind of things like that. But before jumping into this video, I'm gonna just put a quick picture of myself in a hiking hat. Just side note, I have no idea why I'm wearing a hiking hat above my raincoat. It should have been the other way around. But one of the most beautiful things about being an online business owner and being a course creator is actually in just being able to do the things that I enjoy the most. One of my most favorite things is hiking, and now 7 days a week I get in a daily hike, and rain, sun, snow, whatever it is, I'm out there on my hike, and these are the little things that I'm the most grateful for. So in terms of content and thinking about it, the first thing I wanted to share is thinking about a skyscraper versus a strip mall. Now, if you've never heard of this term, I hadn't either until a few years ago. I heard it on just a podcast that I was listening to, and basically there are two types of creator businesses. So the very first one is called a strip mall, and this is what most of us think about when we are thinking about multiple income streams or creating an online business, especially if we want to have multiple products, all of those things. And a strip mall is exactly what it sounds like: multiple products that bring in varying levels of revenue. A second model is what's called a skyscraper model, and this is basically a single scalable flagship product. Now, and for me, again, this has been a multi-year process, but last year I went from building a strip mall model to focusing on building a skyscraper. So my skyscraper is our online course mastermind for therapists, and then we have like what I call like a couple of little buildings. So the main little building is I have my Healthcasters podcasting course as well. It was extremely scary to go all in and just focus on one product. I had all of these fears around whether putting all of my eggs in one basket, if that's such a good idea, whether, anyone would purchase, based on, because my mastermind is a higher priced offering, all of those things. But what I have found is that, when we get to the edge of what is familiar and unfamiliar, and we take that sort of leap, there is the opportunity for some serious results, and serious results truly do come from focus and clarity. So a side note also on this skyscraper versus strip mall model, I think there's this, and for me at least, I fell into this, which is I felt like I either had to, I knew I at some point wanted a skyscraper, and I felt like I had to get that done yesterday. But what I have actually found is most creators, I suspect, actually start out with a strip mall model and figure out, based on the different products that are in the strip mall, which one is generating the most money, which one takes the most time, and which basically what is the best investment from a time versus money perspective. And then they go all in on that one thing. So if you've been struggling, you're like, Mel, like I would love to do a skyscraper, but I feel like I'm in a strip mall kind of season, it's okay, because I suspect that's what most of us are doing. And then we kind of, again, double down on it. The second sort of tip I wanted to share with you is owning your audience. So as you build your following on social media, whether it's here on YouTube or you're doing podcasting or you're writing on LinkedIn or whatever it is, managing a Facebook group, don't forget to also build your email list. I learned this the hard way, especially in the first couple of years. I have a Facebook group for therapists, and it's a little under 10,000 members. And in the initial stages of that Facebook group, I had about 50 of my friends from grad school and internship and practicum. I invited them when I first launched the Selling the Couch podcast back in 2015. And the cool thing was I told them, hey, why don't we just create a group? We can discuss stuff that's happening on the podcast. And anytime I would make a post in that group, everybody would see it. It makes perfect sense. But over time, what happened is Facebook started restricting the amount of people who were seeing those posts. So now, I'm lucky to get like 10% of my, 10,000 members being able to see a post. If it's 10%, it's like doing phenomenal. And if it's 5%, it's like excellent. So it made me realize kind of a painful lesson, and I wanted to share with you, which is build your email list from the start. 90% of our mastermind sales come through email. I would say right around that of our Healthcasters course sales come from email as well. Just 10% comes from social media. Just remember that relationships usually start on social media, but they're built and deepened over email. The third thing I wanted to mention is build an athlete mindset. I used to view entrepreneurship as a weekend warrior. So hustle and grind and do all of that stuff, because the more I kind of grind, the more success I was going to have. But the reality is that sort of hustle and grind culture, which I think is embedded especially in this sort of online creator space, you have to be so careful. It comes at a cost, and people are often not talking about the compromises that they're making in order to get to that. And I learned it the hard way, and especially after our daughter was born a few years ago, she was premature. I just realized I didn't want I just practically could not do that sort of lifestyle. And then two, I just came to realize what am I modeling? What am I modeling for my daughter? What am I modeling to colleagues and all of these things? And so I shifted to what I call an elite athlete mindset. So basically I said entrepreneurship is a very important thing I do. And in order for me to function optimally, I really have to be doing certain things. So I do HIIT exercises, which are high intensity interval trainings. I really prioritize getting 8 to 8.5 hours of sleep. I also get a 25-minute power nap every day. I eat really clean with lots of brain food. And what I have realized over and over is business performance starts with good physical health and with good mental health as well. The next sort of point I wanted to make is simple scales, fancy fails. The biggest mistake that creators make in this online space is overcomplicating things. And especially if you're a therapist that's watching this, we are all wickedly smart and very capable, and we can hold a lot of things in our mind. But I think that is both our gift and our curse. And why I mean it's a curse is because for us, I think it's very easy to overcomplicate things, and also feel like we need to be doing 10 different things in order for something to be successful. So from, basically trying to add, as a course creator, you're like, hey, one course won't do. I'm going to try to aim for 3 or 5 of them. And just remember, don't add products for the sake of adding products. Just remember, you may only need one product, right? One solid course or one scalable offer that is related to your online course to get you to the lifestyle and to the revenue that you want. This year I went from 7 income streams to primarily 1, and my income has never been higher. But more importantly, mentally, I feel less anxious. And this is one of the things that I struggled with having each of these products is I have to thinking about how to market it, how to grow it. Oh, I got to fix that on this, or I got to update this. And nobody talks about that. And the reality is, it's really hard, and you really have to sort of build out bigger and bigger teams in order to do that. So if that's not something that you want to do, which is perfectly okay, that's what I've optimized for, to have a small team. It just means that you have to have less things. And what's interesting for me is the anxiety that I used to feel has been replaced by gratitude as I've actually had less and less products. Now, one of the best ways to actually, scale yourself, especially as a therapist, is to create an online course. So if you are interested in doing that and you've been like, man, Mel, I've been wanting to do that for a long time, just wanted to pass along a free resource we created for you. It's a free 7-day email course to validate your course idea as a therapist, so that you actually have a course that people actually want, and you don't end up spending needless money. You can check that out at coursecreatorstarterkit.com. So the next point that I wanted to mention is that people matter, especially in this online space. So much of this online work that we're doing is built on social media platforms. And with that, there's this tendency to almost devalue people, right? We focus on followers or subscribers or any of those kind of numbers. But over and over, and I struggle with this, like I'm not gonna be, I've got this all figured out, But over and over, what I find is that people will forget what you sell them, right? After I pass, right, and not to go like morbid, but after I pass, people will forget about my course. People will forget about my mastermind, right? But they will never forget the impact that you made on their lives, and they will never forget like how you made them, and at the end of the day, that's what matters. For our online course mastermind, every time we have done these launches, I've done one-on-one calls, because one, I want to get to know the people that are in the mastermind. For me, it's not just about like focusing on a number. But anytime we've done those calls, there's always been a subset of people I've told them like, hey, you should probably not join. Just because, not that I wouldn't love to have you, but because I just feel like you might be in a season of life where it doesn't make sense, or, your revenue goals aren't where it should be, because this is what's going to happen if you try to build an online course and your revenue is not stabilized yet. And it's really scary as an entrepreneur, because that's a lot of money, right? And it's a lot of money when you're like telling people like that somebody that's really interested to be like, hey, no, you shouldn't do this. But I found that people are so appreciative when you do that, just because one, it's like most people don't do that, and then two, it's like, I think it gives them, I don't know, there's like, I think a sense of respect that's built. And with our mastermind, my goal isn't to convince people to buy, it's just to make an informed decision. And we do that same thing, of course. Integrity first is sort of my mantra. The next sort of point is do your money work. And our relationship with money impacts our business in so many levels. I just never formed this connection. And over the past couple of years, I've been doing a lot of work through therapy, through brain spotting, just because I've had so much money trauma for me as an immigrant coming to the US. All of the messages that I was told about, what a therapist should do, what a therapist should charge, that therapy is a noble profession, that you can't charge, like those kind of messages. I literally had a professor in my first year of undergrad tell me not to go into psychology because I would never make it, right? And I'm sure they were well-meaning at the time, but like, it just, when you're 18 years old and you personalize that so much, or you internalize that, especially from people you respect, it crushes you, really impacts how you think about money. My biggest thing has been, I examine and I attack what I was taught about money, because there's a lovely quote that really has been a mantra recently, which is that, money basically makes you more of who you are. If you're a not a nice person, insert bad curse word, right? Then more money turns you more into that type of person. But if you're a kind and awesome person, that is service-based, more money will likely make you more kind and more service-based. And that's the mindset that I want to aim for as a course creator. The final thing I wanted to mention is optimize for the right thing. I love connecting with interesting people on social media. I don't like the dopamine hit of social. It drains me. It makes me feel like I'm not doing enough. It creates this sort of unhealthy comparison. So over the past couple of years, I've been just really intentional with social media. I'm specifically focusing on platforms that are more search versus feed based. So things like YouTube versus a feed, which would be like stuff that you scroll. And the problem with these scroll ones are, one, it's like it's addictive, right? To keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. But then the other issue is when you build on these platforms like that are more feed based, you're essentially, if you stop posting, right, you get de-emphasized by the algorithm. And so my biggest advice, or my biggest lesson that I learned, was optimize for your goals, not for dope. So just a quick summary on this. The 7 things again: build a skyscraper, not a strip mall. 2, own your audience. 3, build an elite athlete mindset. 4, simple skills, fancy fails. 5, remember, people will always remember how you made them feel. 6, do your money work. And 7, optimize for the right thing. If you enjoyed this video, I'm also going to post a related video, which is the 11 best online course tools that I use as part of my tech stack. It will be somewhere somewhere here. And so I encourage you to check it out. But have a wonderful rest of your day, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch. Bye.